Episode 9. The wrong man was convicted. Everyone remembers the arrest. The cameras. The handcuffs. The certainty. Police said they had their man. The city exhaled. People wanted to believe it was over. Someone had to pay for what happened. And someone did. The victim was found early in the morning. A quiet street. Rows of identical houses. Nothing dramatic at first glance. Just a body that didn't belong there. By noon, the name of the victim was everywhere. By evening, rumors followed. By the next day, police already had a suspect. His name was Daniel Crow. 34 years old. Recently divorced. Worked nights. He lived 2 blocks away. That was enough. Neighbors said he kept to himself. Someone remembered an argument weeks earlier. Another mentioned he seemed angry lately. The story started forming on its own. Daniel was questioned for 6 hours. No lawyer. No break. He denied everything. Again. And again. But denial doesn't sound convincing after hour 5. Especially when detectives already think they know the answer. There was no direct evidence. No clear witness. No confession. But there was timing. Opportunity. And pressure. Daniel had been near the area that night. He couldn't prove otherwise. Sometimes that's all it takes. The trial moved fast. Too fast. Prosecutors spoke with confidence. They filled the gaps with certainty. They told a story that sounded complete. Daniel sat quietly. Every look in the courtroom felt like a verdict. Witnesses were inconsistent. One said they saw Daniel near the street. Another wasn't sure, but thought it was him. A third admitted it was dark. Still, the statement stayed. Doubt was treated like inconvenience. The defense tried to slow things down. They asked for more testing. More time. More answers. The requests were denied. The city wanted closure. And the system was ready to give it. The verdict came after 4 hours. Guilty. No one gasped. No one was surprised. Daniel didn't react at first. Then he closed his eyes. He was sentenced to life. As he was led away, he turned once. Looked at his family. Tried to speak. The guard pulled him forward. That was the last time most people saw him. After the trial, the city moved on. That's what cities do. Flowers disappeared from the sidewalk. The news trucks stopped coming. A new story replaced the old one. Daniel Crow became a name people no longer said out loud. Inside prison walls, time behaved differently. Days stretched. Weeks blurred together. Daniel wrote letters that went unanswered. He replayed the same night again and again, searching for a moment that never existed. Guilt had been decided for him. Truth was no longer relevant. 3 years passed before anyone reopened the file. Not officially. Not loudly. A junior public defender named Elena Marks requested the case out of routine. No expectations. No theory. She read the transcripts late at night. She listened to recordings without watching the timestamps. Something felt off. Not wrong. Just unfinished. Elena focused on what wasn't emphasized during trial. The gaps. The pauses. The moments everyone rushed through. One witness mentioned seeing a man across the street. Tall. Wearing a dark jacket. No name attached. The statement was filed. Then ignored. Because it didn't point to Daniel. She compared timelines carefully. Not the official ones. The real ones. Minutes mattered. Distances mattered. Daniel's phone connected to a tower miles away longer than the prosecution admitted. It wasn't an alibi. But it wasn't nothing. That detail had never reached the jury. Elena requested additional records. Transit logs. Maintenance schedules. City service reports. One document stood out. A routine entry. No highlight. No follow-up. Someone else had been in the area that night. Someone never questioned. Elena didn't announce what she'd found. She knew better. Cases like this didn't collapse because of truth. They collapsed because someone stopped looking. She traced the name attached to the maintenance log. Not a suspect. Not even a witness. Just a city employee assigned to inspect street lighting that night. His presence explained nothing. And everything. When she requested to interview him, the response came back polite. Then delayed. Then redirected. Internal reviews were mentioned. Procedures. Jurisdiction. No one said no. They just made it difficult. The system wasn't trying to hide the truth. It was trying to protect the version it had already chosen. Elena finally met him in a small conference room. He was calm. Too calm. He remembered the night clearly. Remembered the street. Remembered the time. He said he saw someone standing near the victim's house. Not Daniel. Someone else. The statement matched the ignored witness from years earlier. The pieces were there. They always had been. Elena brought the information to her supervisors. The reaction was immediate. Concern. Silence. Then resistance. Reopening the case would mean admitting failure. Not just one mistake. Many. And mistakes don't disappear when you name them. They spread. Daniel learned about the review through a letter. 2 pages. Carefully worded. No promises. He read it slowly. Then again. Hope is dangerous in prison. Because once you feel it, you remember what freedom was. The review moved forward quietly. No press. No announcements. No urgency. Evidence was re-examined behind closed doors. Witness statements were reread with different eyes. Timelines were rebuilt without assumptions. What emerged was not a revelation. It was a correction. Small changes at first. Minutes adjusted. Distances recalculated. Then larger ones. Daniel's presence at the scene became less certain. Then questionable. Then impossible. The case that once felt solid began to thin. The man from the maintenance logs was interviewed again. This time officially. He answered the same questions he had answered years ago. Gave the same descriptions. Pointed to the same figure he had seen that night. The difference was simple. This time, someone listened. His account placed another man near the victim's home. Not 2 blocks away. Across the street. Close enough to hear a door open. The hearing took place on a gray morning. No cameras. No crowd. Daniel sat at the same table he had sat at years before. Older. Thinner. Quieter. The judge read through the findings carefully. Slowly. Every sentence erased something that had once been certain. When the ruling came, it was brief. Conviction vacated. Just 2 words. They didn't give Daniel back the years. They didn't undo the nights. They didn't restore what prison had taken. They only acknowledged the truth. Late. Daniel walked out of the facility that afternoon. No speech. No celebration. The air felt unfamiliar. Too open. Too wide. He stood for a moment, unsure where to go. Freedom, after years of confinement, doesn't feel like relief. It feels like disorientation. The real killer was never arrested. The trail went cold long before the review began. Some mistakes can be corrected. Others remain. Years later, Daniel was asked how he survived. He thought about it for a long time. Then he said this. They needed someone to blame. And I was available. The case was closed again. This time, correctly. But the damage stayed. And so did the silence. Justice.